Today we start a new series on this channel, Night Rider Filming Locations. Our goal with this new series is pretty simple and straightforward. We're going to highlight the major filming locations for every single episode, show you a screenshot of them from the show, and what that site looks like today. And we'll run through these filming location episodes in the same order that the episodes were aired. We'll try to hit every single location we know, be it a major one from the episode or a random driving scene. There will be some locations I guarantee you that we do not know, so this will be your opportunity to help us out. If we mention that we don't know the filming location for a given scene, and you find it, throw it in the comments below for that respective episode. Alright, I think this is going to be a lot of fun, so let's get going. Please consider subscribing to help us on our march to 100,000 subscribers. You can make a difference.
I may just be a little kid, but I'm not stupid. The car talked to you.
The site of the Las Vegas casino that we see at the beginning of the episode is actually not in Las Vegas at all. They didn't film any of the pilot in Las Vegas. This is in reality in Los Angeles. This is the Gateway Sheraton Hotel. So if we see here, we've got a pillar here behind Lonnie. We've got the double doors here. And head over here. And this is the door she came out of. It looks like they've remodeled since. And you can see, I believe this is that same pillar, just kind of remodeled as well. Yeah, it is. It's just from a slightly different angle. But some of you guys might recognize this hotel. It was used a couple times in Night Rider. We see it again in the Topaz Connection. Ironically, it's also used as a Las Vegas hotel in the Topaz Connection. And then we see it again in Goliath Returns as where Klaus and Christina Bergstrom stay. The scene where where Lonnie hands over the microfiche to Wilson, and where Michael Long gets shot in some, desert road somewhere. Actually, it doesn't even look like the desert because you see a lot of greenery here. We do not know where this location is. As you can imagine, this one would be incredibly hard without some type of call sheets or production notes to identify where this is at. But it's not in the desert. There's a lot of green bushes and trees, probably somewhere in the Santa Clarita area. So we're going to mark this one as unknown currently. But this is one location we do know. And technically, Night Rider never filmed here. This is stock footage that they put in to be the Night Estate. And in reality, this is the Beaulieu Palace House in the UK. And it's still standing today, as you'll see here. There it is today, looking pretty much as it did back then. This is from a slightly different angle. They didn't have a street view of the same angle, but this is the exact same palace house that is used for the Night Estate all the way over in the UK. But after they do that pan of the palace house, we see the shot of the Night Industries helicopter landing, and this was filmed in California. And in fact, if you look at the greenery around it, it was probably filmed somewhere near where they filmed the scene with Michael Long getting shot, would be my guess. But another unknown location. So if you know, put it in the comments below. All right, so I'm probably not going to address this in every single episode because it's going to be redundant. But anytime you see Devin's office, which, by the way, you can tell this is Devin's office before it's his office. Here in the pilot, it's Michael Long's recovery room, but this is Devin's office. Anytime you see Devin's office, anytime you see the inside of the semi, that's all sets that are on Stage 1 at Universal Studios. Stage 1 is still there, albeit renovated and expanded, but it currently houses the Kelly Clarkson show. So this is Universal Studios. Right here in the center, this is Stage 1. All right, so then we see this scene of workers mysteriously going in and out of this warehouse, finishing up Kit. And this is another unknown location from the pilot. I want to say it was a building on the studio lot, but I've yet to be able to firmly connect the pieces and find this exact building. So we're going to call this one unknown, but again, if you know, put it in the comments below. We'd love to fill in the blanks. So next up are scenes filmed at a different location for the Knight Estate. This is anytime you see the Knight Estate where you actually see the actors there, Edward Mulhare, Richard Basehart, David Hasselhoff, Richard Anderson, then that was filmed at this location, which is the Greystone Mansion in Beverly Hills. And you can see Edward's leaning over this stone railing. And if we look at it today, here's that same stone railing. Here are the stairs that Michael Knight runs up, in that scene. And you can see down here, there's the track he's running on in that episode. So this mansion has been used in a ton of Hollywood productions, and I believe you can actually tour it as well. All right, next up is this scene where Michael is introduced to Kit for the first time. Michael comes out a door at the top and goes down these spiral staircases, and right here. Again, not 100% sure of the location of this scene. My guess is probably the inside of a soundstage at Universal. So you guys out there can correct me if I'm wrong, or if I'm right, you can let me know. And real quick, going back to the scene I just mentioned regarding the outside of the warehouse, this is clearly the same location, but you get a slightly different angle here. So maybe this will give some clues as to where this was actually filmed at. So next up is the scene where Michael and Devin are taking Kit out for his inaugural drive, and they play chicken with a 10-ton semi. So if we look here in the background, you see this hill right here with the electric tower on top. So this whole area has been heavily redeveloped from what I can tell from the way it was back in 1982. So here is what it appears to look like now. You can see the hill is still there, the tower is still there, but this whole area has been redeveloped. In fact, if we go out to an aerial view here, you can just see this whole neighborhood here, all of this has been redeveloped. That tower and that hill is this area right here. So the road that they were driving on would have been like somewhere over, probably like right here, I believe. I think this might still be some of that road right here, and it went straight back this way, but this has all been changed out, as you can see. But the hill is still there, so that helps us to identify it. Okay, so Devin tells Michael pretty much that Kit can go off and do whatever on his own, and he wouldn't harm him and all this stuff. And then Michael immediately stops Kit. He pulls over right here. So this is Del Val Road, and you can see this area right here, I believe, is this pull-off right here, I think. Again, it's kind of hard to tell because it's so close up, but it sure looks the same. And there's like it looks like there's an access road there, and there's an access road right here. So I think that's the same location. All right, so we fast forward, and Michael takes off on Kit by himself, and we have this nice little montage here. And we see Kit driving on this road, and you see there's a hill here, and you can see some tracks right here, and you see this crossroad here. Well, once again, just like what we just covered, that is the same location again. So if we come up here a little bit, you can see there's the road that cuts through, and there's the tracks that are actually more pronounced today than they were back then. So that location looks to be pretty much unchanged. All right, next up is this fantastic scene. I always remember this one from the pilot whenever Michael and Kit are driving and they're in all this cacti driving down this road. And this was on Bob's Gap Road. Here's what it looked like then, and here's what it looks like now. And actually, you can see that a lot of this landscape in the background is exactly the same. So he's curving around this bend right here. All right, so then we see the close-up of the San Francisco and Millston sign. Interestingly enough, this is a location that we just covered a minute ago here. This same one where Michael pulls over, where we see an aerial shot of Kit driving, it's this exact same place. They probably just had the sign, I don't know, maybe right about here. And if you look, there's that crossroad, and then there's the tracks that we talked about going up the hill. Same location. All right, here's another location lost to time, unfortunately. The first time we hear Kit speak. So Kit speaks, Michael slams on the brakes right here, and you see this whole scene. If you look in the background here, you can't see it in a screenshot, but you can see it in video. You see cars, a whole bunch of cars driving back and forth. This is I-5, Interstate 5. And because of that, that helps us to identify where this was. And unfortunately, it was right here on Pico Canyon Road. You can see everything around it has been redeveloped. So if we come in here and take a look, it happened right about in this location, but nothing looks familiar. See how different it is? So it would have been, let's see here. So I-5 is back this way, so they would have been parked right about here, and you would have been able to see the cars on I-5 going back and forth in the background. So another location lost to time. But here's a location not lost to time. So Michael is asleep. The policemen see him and say he's plumb asleep at the wheel. He's going around Dead Man's Curve, and he makes the curve, and then you see this whole scene play out. So if you look in the background, you can see that same Dead Man's Curve is right here where they filmed it. So he came around here, came down and into this area, which is Pico Canyon. So this area is all still exactly the way it was back in 1982, which is awesome. So there's no street view, but this is Dead Man's Curve. And you can see they come around, go down here, hit the straightaway here, and then somewhere in this area is where they pull over and Michael does his... they make him think he's deaf and all that stuff. So this is all exactly the same. Pico Canyon was used in a million shows back in the day, a million episodes of Knight Rider. Pretty much any time you see Kit out in the middle of nowhere, it was in this Pico Canyon area. All right, next up is the House of the Rising Sun. Another location no longer there anymore. Unfortunately, this used to be the Tennessee Gin and Cotton Company, I believe, bar restaurant. And here's what it looks like today. It's now a shopping plaza. Isn't that great? But this area over here is still very similar to what it was in 1982. In fact, if we bring up this picture, so this parking lot and this row of hedges back here is this right here. And Michael pulls up and parks, and you can even see this house in the background of the screenshot. So this is exactly where House of the Rising Sun used to be. Unfortunately, it is no longer there. All right, next up is Maggie's apartment. In reality, this is stock footage. We do see a scene later where Michael is dropping Maggie off, but it's not at this location. This is stock footage that we see right here. And actually, this place looks identical today on Valencia Avenue in Burbank. It really has not changed at all, which is kind of cool. But again, they didn't actually film here. It was just stock footage. All right, so Michael pulls up to this building, goes to make a phone call to Devin because apparently he didn't know that he could make calls in Kit at this time. So this building is still there. It doesn't look as much like it did back then, but the building is still there. It almost looks abandoned, but I don't think it is. They changed out. You can see here it had a larger door and some windows. Those got changed out and it got painted blue, but that's the location. And you see the car thieves pull up right here, throw a brick at Kit's window and all that stuff. All right, next up is Saugus Speedway, used for the Demolition Derby. We see Saugus again in Slam and Sammy's Stunt Show Spectacular and Knights of the Fast Lane. Saugus is still there, sort of. It's no longer a racetrack. It's a swap meet. And you can see here that the bleachers are all gone, but you can see where the track, you see the imprint of the track is still there. I was reading an article recently where they're talking about possibly redeveloping this whole area, so Saugus will be completely gone, which will be a complete shame. All right, so after the demolition derby, Michael drops Maggie off supposedly at her apartment, and this is really all we see. This is not that same location we saw for stock footage for her apartment, so don't really know exactly where this is. If you do, put it in the comments below. Ah, yes, the gas station where Kit is stolen by the car thieves. This is still a gas station today, and we can see Kit's parked in front of the restroom there. But here it is today. I don't know if we can go in here. Can we go in here? Whoa, we went way too far. No, it's not going to let us. Let's go back out here. So let's see if we'll go a little further here. And so if we zoom in here, there's the restrooms right there. Actually, it's a different building. You can see it's changed over the years. I think it used to be right over here would be my guess. But if you zoom out, you can see that stone wall in the background, which we can see right here as well. All right, so the car thieves have taken Kit. Kit's taken them for a joyride, and you can see here they do all these this spin out here and then head down this road right here. This one was easy. It says Wiley Canyon Road right there. So it's this intersection right here. So the 360 was right here, and then he proceeded down this road right there. Now, this next scene, this turbo boost over some stalled cars, no idea where this was at. So if you know, let us know. Ah, the famous scene where they do multiple 360s. Gas is spilling out of Kit's gas tank. I love it. So this is on McBean Parkway, and here's what it looks like today. That whole shopping plaza is still back there. It's obscured by this building that wasn't there back in 1982. We saw this plaza again in Night of the Chameleon. And special thanks to our friend Perifractic at Retro Recipes, who lives in the area and actually went out and took this photo for us. So this was taken just a few days ago of that shopping plaza. All right, so Kit neatly delivers the thieves to the police station. We can see him coming around this bend. Oops, coming around this bend. And here it is today, the Santa Clarita Sheriff Station, which is no longer. They moved to a different location, but here's that building, and the building, as you can see, looks pretty much the same as it did back in '82. Ah, Comtron. What a cool-looking building. I'm pleased to tell you that this building still exists today. It's over here in Westlake Village, California. This is the Comtron building, the main one right here that you see in this screenshot, and then you see some of this other building being used as well in that episode. But if we come in here for street view, you'll see it's all obscured by trees. This is some of the Comtron building right there, but the main building, I don't think, let me see if I can move over a little. Yeah, the main building is completely obscured by trees, unfortunately, but it's right back there. Trust me, it's the same one. All right, so then you get this great scene, the outside of Comtron, supposedly, and Kit's in here, self-activates, crashes, and comes to Michael's rescue. So this door right here is actually one of the entrances to Stage 12 at Universal. So if we go, this is Stage 12 right here, I believe. But right here, this is the door that he would have crashed out of. And if we go back to our screenshots, and you see him drive, and you see these glass doors and these globe lights. If we go back to here, this is the glass door that you see, in the globe lights either still are there and we can't see them, or they've been removed. But this is where that whole scene took place, on Alfred Hitchcock Lane, Universal Studios. Yeah, and take a look at this. But going back to the police station, you can even see it said Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station, and they obscured it with some tree branches there. So here's another one of those brief, like 3-second scenes, but don't know exactly where this was filmed. If you somehow can identify this location based on this limited amount of visibility and foliage, then please put it in the comments. Another unknown location is where this scene took place. This is where Kit turbo boosts through the side of the Comtron trailer. Again, not much information to go on since it's dark. You see it's a 2-lane road. There's a hill here, but not much else to go on. All right, so this scene took place at the Burbank Airport at night. We can't tell exactly where at the Burbank Airport it took place, but we know it was the Burbank Airport. I'm not going to show you today's shot of the airport right now, simply because I can't match it up exactly. So then we move to this scene. It's an establishing shot of the hospital where Michael is recovering from his gunshot wound. This is clearly stock footage of some large building. If you know what building this is, let us know. Put it into our archives. And then we see this scene inside the hospital with Michael and Maggie. Don't know for sure, but chances are this was a standing hospital set at the studio. We know that they had a standing set for a hospital. They used it in Race for Life and some other episodes, and I'm sure they used it for a lot of different series. That's why they just kind of kept it standing. My guess is that's where this was filmed. And finally, the episode ends with Kit being towed to this airport hangar, the semi parked beside it. This is also the Burbank Airport, and this is the best shot I could get, hangar 5. So the semi was parked here, and Kit comes in right here and gets let off. Okay, guys, that's the end of our filming locations for the pilot. This was kind of a mammoth one to get through because there's so many locations. So going forward, it should be hopefully a little bit easier, except for those, instances where they really get out there and film a lot, like the car chase and Night of the Drones, but we'll deal with that when we get there. So let me know if you guys like this, and if you like the format, if I should tweak the format at all, and look forward to filming locations for Deadly Maneuvers coming up next. As always, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.